Hey everybody, today's October 28th, the week of Halloween. This is Mr. Marino coming to you with this week's midweek update. Well, guess what? I got some good news for everybody. This week we don't have CK12. This week we don't have Brain Plot. This week we don't have Ed Puzzle, because this week is a special week. This week we have a project, and the project is called the Element Project. The Element Project was explained to Cohort A in class this week. It was also explained remotely today, Wednesday, October 28th, to everyone who showed up to remote classes. For those of you in Cohort B, Thursday will be your time for me to go over and explain it for a second time. Not to mention this vlog, which also goes over it. So that means there'll be a total of 3 times that I go over this project for you, which, by the way, is due Tuesday, November 3rd. Other than that, I wish everyone to have a happy, warm, spooky week. Thank you for following at MrMarinoScience, and we'll see you next time.
Alright, so we're going to take this 3x5 index card, and I'm going to make sure that the lines are facing down, and hold it vertical. And for this element project, you're going to get an element selected for you, which you should have already by now. And you're going to write that element name on the top of this card. On the left side, towards the top, you're going to make that element key that we learned how to do a few weeks ago, including the atomic symbol, the atomic number, and the atomic mass. Now, over in this big space over here, we're going to get to that in a second. In this space, we're going to put the dot diagram. So it's important that you remember what a dot diagram is, as we've learned that 2 or 3 weeks ago. Now, in this big space over here, we're going to draw the atomic model of our atom, whatever that looks like. Now, in this example, I just drew a letter X. We can call this atom X, and we draw the appropriate number of electrons in the electron cloud distributed the proper way. If your electrons exceed 28, then you're going to want to do a little bit of research to find out how many electrons go on each cloud and cite your citation on the back. Down here on the bottom, if you choose, you can make a key. And because I do expect colors, if you want to label your protons black and your electrons white and your neutrons blue, or whatever color you choose to do, it's important that you put your key so that I understand that you know where the protons, electrons, and neutrons go. On the lower third of the card is going to be where your information goes. This information is going to be obtained. This information will be obtained by your research. I'd like to know things about the element, such as who invented it, or who discovered it, where it was invented or discovered, and when. Additionally, I'd like to know what the element is used for. What's its purpose? And lastly, I'd like you to include a fun fact or an interesting fact about your element. Something that can wow my socks off. Other than that, I expect full color and perfect circles, which means you're going to probably need to trace, and that's okay. At the very bottom, you should put your name and your homeroom and your cohort. The example I have there is D202A. Now, on the back, don't mind the Sharpies. Sharpies bleed through quite heavily, so maybe something you want to avoid using. On the back, citations. You got to have at least 3 of them. Now, the important thing about the citations is I don't want you to say, I got it from Google. Do a little bit more digging, a little bit more research, and see where it actually came from. Hopefully somewhere reputable. Not Wikipedia either. Wikipedia can be changed by all kinds of users, so you just never know. It's a risk I don't want you to take. Other than that, that's the element project.